This is our video on analyzing units. The usual brief outline. We'll first talk about the meaning of the word per, as in miles per hour, and then we will talk about analyzing units and converting units. For example, miles per hour to feet per second is the kind of conversion we will be doing. Okay, the meaning of the word per is divided by. So if you travel 348 miles in 6 hours, then your speed in miles per hour you get by dividing the number of miles by the number of hours. That's 348 miles divided by 6 hours. If you do the division, you get 58 miles per hour. Let's try a related problem here. Let's suppose you know that you're traveling at a constant speed of 58 miles per hour. So this means that miles per hour, miles over hours, is constant and equal to 58. So then, given a travel time, you can calculate the miles traveled in that time. This is a calculation I imagine you've done in the past. You multiply the time in hours by the speed in miles per hour. So, for example, let's suppose you drive for 4.5 hours at 58 miles per hour. If I ask you for the number of miles traveled, you would probably, without thinking about it too much, multiply 4.5 times 58. And that's exactly how the conversion is made. We multiply 4.5 hours by 58 miles per hour. What I would like for you to notice here is how the hours cancel. This is the beginning of our analysis of units. So the hours cancel. The final figure will be in miles, and 4.5 times 58 miles is 261 miles. Let's try a similar and fairly easy problem, something you would probably do automatically without thinking too much. There are 32 fluid ounces in a quart. How do you convert 102 fluid ounces to quarts? If you said divide 102 by 32, you're absolutely right. So if we continue our analysis of how units work, we could think of this as multiplying 102 ounces by quarts per ounce. Right, the quarts per ounce figure is 1 quart per 32 ounces. So let's write out the equation with the showing the calculation with all the units. Okay, we have 102 ounces multiplied by 1 over 32 quarts per ounce. The ounces will cancel, and the final answer will be in quarts. This will be 102 over 32 quarts, or 3.1875 quarts if you calculate if you do the division on a calculator. Okay, let's try another example that you would probably do without thinking too much. Say you buy 5 gallons of house paint for $135. What is the price per gallon in dollars per gallon? Well, dollars per gallon means dollars divided by gallons. So, as you probably guessed at the beginning, You get the answer in dollars per gallon by dividing $135 by 5 gallons. Doing the division gives you $27 per gallon for this paint. Similar question, how many gallons do you get for $1? Here we are asking for gallons per dollar. So the number of gallons per dollar is gallons divided by dollars. That's 5 gallons divided by $135, 0.037 gallons per dollar. So let's try this problem. A sprinter runs 100 yards in 9.7 seconds. What is his speed in miles per hour? So the plan is to first convert the 100 yards to miles by multiplying by miles per yard. So we will be multiplying 100 yards by the ratio of miles to yards. The yards will cancel. And then we will convert the 9.7 seconds to hours by multiplying by hours per second. So if you multiply seconds by hours over seconds, the seconds cancel, and you get the time converted to hours. And then finally, we will divide the number of miles by the number of hours to get the speed in miles per hour. Okay, here's the problem again. Ran out of room on the previous slide. Okay, let's look first at converting the yards to miles. What is the ratio of miles to yards? Well, 1 mile is 1,760 yards. So miles per yard, miles over yards, is 1 over 1760. So converting 100 yards to miles, we will multiply 100 yards by 1 over 1760 miles per yards. The yards will cancel. 100 over 1760 miles. And if you do the division, 0.0568182 miles. I haven't rounded off here because this is a multi-step problem, and if you round off in multi-step problems, the round-off error tends to accumulate. Okay, now we'll work on converting the 9.7 seconds to hours. Okay, so there are 60 seconds in a minute and 60 minutes in an hour, so 3,600 seconds in 1 hour. So the ratio of seconds, of hours to seconds, hours per second, is 1 over 3,600. So converting 9.7 seconds to hours, we multiply the seconds. Sorry about that. We multiply the seconds by hours per second. The seconds cancel, and we get a final answer in hours, 9.7 divided by 3,600 hours. Or in decimal form, 0.0026944 hours. And now the final step was to divide the number of miles by the number of hours. These are the two figures we calculated on the previous slide, the number of miles and the number of hours. If you do the division, you get 21.09 miles per hour. So the sprinter's speed in miles per hour is 21.09. There are probably several ways of doing this problem. This is a repeat of the previous problem. I'm going to try an alternate solution here. So in this alternate solution, we will first calculate his speed in yards per second. At yards per second, you find by dividing the number of yards by the number of seconds. So 100 over yards over 9.7 seconds. I'm not going to do any calculating until the end of this solution. Okay, and now what we're going to do is convert the yards per second to miles per hour. Right, this will involve converting yards to miles and seconds to hours. Something we did in the first solution. Okay, so we have a figure of 100 over 9.7 yards per second. If I multiply by miles per yard, the yards will cancel, so that will convert the distance units to miles. If I multiply by 3,600 seconds over 1 hour, the seconds will cancel, and the time units will be converted to hours. So the final figure will be, in the units remaining are miles per hour. So in the numerator, 100 times 3,600 miles. In the denominator, 9.7 times 1760 hours. If you do the calculations, you get 21.09 miles per hour. Same solution as before. Okay, one final example. So let's look at that same sprinter who ran 100 yards in 9.7 seconds. What I would like to do is convert his speed from yards per second to meters per second, or I want to find his speed in meters per second. So what we need to do is convert the 100 yards to meters, and then do a division, the number of meters divided by the number of seconds. Okay, what is the ratio of yards to meters? Well, looking online, I found that 1 yard is 0.9144 meters. And we need to multiply the distance in yards by the ratio of meters to yards so that the yards will cancel. So the ratio of meters to yards, 0.9144 meters to 1 yard. And now the calculation, 100 yards multiplied by 0.9144 meters per yard. The yards will cancel, and the final answer will be in meters, 91.44 meters. And now the final step in this problem is simply to divide meters by seconds to get the speed in meters per second. 91.44 meters divided by 9.7 seconds gives us 9.43 meters per second.